Good day everybody. It's been a long time since I've talked to you guys. I've been putting off making this video for a very long time. I just wanted to give you a report back on what we've done in the last year and especially in the last few weeks. We've been quite busy, especially to begin building again. We need to add 2 rooms, and as the cash is coming in, we're finishing those off just to enlarge the rooms. Also because my dad is coming to visit and we will need to have a place for him to stay. So we're quite busy in getting everything ready. There's so much other things that happened on the farm as well. If you can call this place a small place a farm, but we call it a farm. We've had quite a few trees fall over the road, so we had to cut them. In the process, I actually cut my finger as well with a chainsaw, and it is just a miracle to say that my finger is still intact, and I think it will actually heal, so you won't even see that it was in a chainsaw, which is a miracle in itself. Otherwise, concerning our work, I've been, of course, very busy spreading the word of our Lord Jesus Christ everywhere on the internet, as well as with the expats here. And sometimes you get quite discouraged and you think that you're not getting anywhere with the words that you shared. Just Sunday we were together as many expats. We were here, specifically South Africans, and we shared the day. And of course, it's always where I'm in a conversation, it's not long before we start talking about God. And I was amazed that I was actually quite silent as one of the persons that I've shared with. And I eventually thought, yeah, I'm not getting anywhere. And here he was defending the gospel. And I could just hear all the things that I shared with him. And he was sharing about Jesus Christ, about him being the Son of God, etc. And it was a great discussion, and I'm happy to say that I did take part, but I was not the main guy talking, and this was really good to see that something is happening, especially since we are the only people in Georgia that really believe that Jesus Christ is the true only begotten Son of God. And then to see that people are actually following that route as well. We've been talking about the Sabbath, about so many topics, and it was good. Then my other friend, and I call him really my friend because I found a true friend in him, he's now gone back to Angola to work there. I'll share his name as well. His name is Ernst. He visited us 6 times in a short period of time, and he had to travel quite far, about 50 kilometers every time. All in all, he had to travel about, I think, about 700 kilometers in a question of about 3 weeks just to come and visit. And every day we would sit and talk just about God. Of course, I couldn't do any work at that stage because he would come in the early afternoon, even in the mornings, and then he would stay right to 12, even at one time 3 o'clock the morning, and he was so hungry to hear everything that we believe. I mean, we've got a wonderful message, and I think so many times as Adventists we just forget that. We forget what we actually have to share. For one thing, the thing that really impacted him so much was the teaching of the state of the dead. He lost a son at close to birth age. I mean, he was still a baby. I'm not exactly sure how old he was. And when I shared with him the state of the dead, it brought so much tears to his eyes to realize that one day he'll have the opportunity to receive back his boy and actually rear him himself. I mean, that was such a wonderful news to him. because, you know, everybody told him, oh, he's in heaven now, and they thought of him growing up to be a man, and then one day he'll meet his boy who will be a foreigner to him. But now he'll just continue where he left off, and that was such good news to him. I mean, it's one of the things that is such a good news to people that have lost loved ones, especially small children. And yes, I can share many stories like that have happened. It is difficult to share with people. People are not always willing to accept it, but sometimes you get somebody that's really open like that. Of course, we still have a long time to go, a long road to go with him, and there's still a lot that needs to happen. He's still not in the process of being baptized, but I'm sure when he gets back we're going to organize that. And of course now he's challenged to make decisions concerning what he has heard, because it's one thing to know and to hear a lot of things that sounds good and great, but eventually we need to make a decision. I've seen that so many times. My other friends, and I call them now friends as well, they've also accepted the message and began to keep the Sabbath. His name is CJ or Sia, and his family, he's got 2 small children, a boy and a girl, beautiful children, and they've really reared them very well. And they are keeping Sabbath. So with a sad heart, they are moving to the other side of the country, but we'll keep in contact, and we'll really follow up on them as much as we can, and go and visit them as soon as possible, and hopefully we can have a baptism not too far off in the future. I really hope that will happen as well. Otherwise, we're doing well. God has been helping us and providing for us in miraculous ways. We thought we might not be able to tackle this new building of the rooms, which we really need. Our house is quite small. It's at this stage only about 50 square meters, just a bit more than 50 square meters. So it is a small place for a family of 4, but we are managing, and God is helping us with that. I would love to share some videos. I want to make a video still of how we built everything. That's a long time coming, so we still need to do that as well. But every day there are things that happen. We need to fix the fences where the dogs get out. Now already they found a new hole somewhere we need to sort out. So every day brings its challenges, and soon we'll have to start planting, or at least preparing to plant. And then of course the fact that my father is coming, we need to sort that out as well. But we're hopeful for the new year. We really believe this year that's coming we will be able to do a lot to get the message out more and more. I want to begin making more videos and share that as well, because I believe we have a very strong message to share. My oldest son, Jonathan, he's 18 and a half. He has begun working. So he's working for a factory that compresses wood into wood cubes, wood blocks for firewood, and it has done him so much good to be able to have that responsibility, and getting up and getting into the routine of going to a job. And he is already the right hand man of the manager or the owner of the business, especially because the owner is a man from Denmark, and he cannot speak Georgian, and slowly but surely Jonathan has been learning Georgian, especially the last few weeks working, and he's been even asked to translate. So he's now the go-to man between him and his workers. And also when he wants something done, he comes to Jonathan, because he knows Jonathan works well and works hard, and the Georgians are not always so hardworking. So for him it's very important that Jonathan is there, and he's a wonderful testimony of what God does in his life. Thanks again for everybody that's supporting us. Without you guys, we cannot do it. We've had some bad news now, that especially with my one friend CJ, that he's leaving to the other side of the country. They were renting from us, so we're losing that income. But I just know God always supports us. There were times where we would get so anxious, about how would we make it, how would we go through, but God has always come through for us. So at least we are at a time where we don't stress about anything anymore. And I just want to again thank you guys that have been supporting us, that stay with us, especially since it's difficult to earn money in this country. If you're not a Georgian, it's just the way things are. My boy is extremely lucky to have gotten a job, and the reason was because he could speak English, of course, and that is a rarity in the rural areas. People here in this village just don't speak English, which forces us to learn the language. I've been able to get to a position where I can actually have conversations with people on a very basic level, basically like a 2-year-old speaking. But I can communicate and have a conversation, tell people where I'm from, what we do, and answer their questions in a very basic way. And then of course they would also ask about faith and things like that, and I could tell them, that we believe in Jesus Christ. And then they would also ask, what faith we are, and then we say Protestant, because that's at this stage the only bit that they know. And for them it's important, because for the Georgians, whether you are Christian is very important. Even though they've got the weird ideas, I believe that there are people in Georgia that really do have a relationship with God, but they do regard their faith as very important, although you cannot always see that in their lives, unfortunately. Alcohol is a big problem here, and of course they are not really always that honest. I have to be honest with that, about that. Yeah, they're just like the rest of the world. There are all the challenges that you find anywhere else in the world. Have a great Sabbath. It's the last Sabbath of the year, and may God bless you all.